Now, I myself, Paul, entreat you. Now he's got to deal with some of the things they've been hearing about him. So they kind of started believing. Now I myself, Paul, entreat you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, who am lowly when present among you, but bold toward you when absent. And some of the congregation started whispering, how did he know that? How did he know that's what some people around here are saying? I pray that when I am present, I need not be bold with the confidence with which I intend to show boldness to certain ones who regard us as if we walk after the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not fleshly, but powerful through God for the tearing down of strongholds, demolishing sophistries, that's fancy talk, fancy philosophy, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and taking every thought into captivity for obedience to Christ, being ready also to avenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Do you look at things by the appearance? If anyone is convinced within himself, as some of these false teachers were, that he is of Christ, he should remind himself of this, that just as he is of Christ, so also are we of Christ. And even if I do boast somewhat excessively concerning our authority, which the Lord gave us for edification and not for your destruction, I will not be put to shame, so that you might not feel that you are being terrorized by letters. That's what the false teachers were telling you. Man, his letters sound weighty and powerful, but he's a puny little fellow when he shows up. The letters, he says, are indeed weighty and powerful, but his physical presence is weak and his speech contemptible. You know why his speech was contemptible? Because when he came, he didn't come as an orator. He told them in his first letter, I didn't come with you with fancy talk. I came with the power of God. That's what I want your faith in. Such a man may count on this, that just as we are in word by letters when absent, so also shall we be in deed when present. For we dare not contrast or compare ourselves with certain people who commend themselves, but they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, do not understand. As for us, we will not boast without limits, but only within the limits of the purview which God has measured out for us, a measure that reaches even as far as you. You are part of what God's given me. I don't go outside of that the way those men are. Those men are stepping into my territory and messing my work up. I'm just taking care of my own business. It is not as though in coming to you we are overreaching ourselves, for we preceded all men in coming to you with the gospel of Christ, not vaunting ourselves beyond our limits in the labors of others, but hoping that as your faith grows, we might be magnified all the more by you who are within our purview. You ought to be magnifying us. As your faith grows, you ought to see our value to your life so far. To proclaim the gospel in regions beyond you, rather than boast in things already laid out for us within another man's purview. But he who boasts, let him boast in the Lord. For it is not the one who commends himself who is approved, but he whom the Lord commends.